This warning is that the story does not contain explicit content, and I share it, hoping that it helps me maybe identify what is affecting me through the help of anyone else that has experienced something similar, so I can get rid of it. And then hopefully if someone else is in a similar position, they can read this. Let me start this story by backtracking a couple of years. I was living in Flagstaff, Arizona. I was 28 years old and living with my sister, and we had an upstairs neighbor that was violent and strange. I was, and I am, convinced she was possessed. She spit on me and would absolutely flip out in the middle of the night, sounding like she was about to break through the floor. My sister had her arrested about a year before I moved in for trying to throw her down the stairs. This violence was definitely weird, as we were both nice, quiet, and kind people. Shortly after moving in, I suddenly, for the first time in my life, started having seizures, which caused me to break both my foot and later ankle and required 2 surgeries with the third pending. I only bring this up because it's the start of a series of very strange and unfortunate events. Due to the surgeries and seizures, and the fact that I have a history of opioid addiction, they wouldn't even prescribe me pain medication after surgery, which I understand, but the first surgery was just too much for my newly found sobriety, and I ended up falling back into an opioid addiction. Fentanyl, to be exact. The what, I found out later, was seizures that started out of nowhere were getting bad. And at the same time, I started noticing a dark presence was constantly around me. One night, while in Flagstaff, I was about to jump into the shower, and my bathroom door came flying open and hit me in the back. I thought it was my sister, and I discovered she was at work at the hospital. I was very active in my addiction, and immediately after I had surgery, I went to rehab, got out, relapsed again, and my sister basically disowned me due to my relapse. And she still refuses to talk to me as I write this. But by the end of 2022, I got help and have stayed clean and sober from November 2022 until present day, which I, as of writing this, am a 32-year-old male. I do have a girlfriend, and I do maintain a pretty decent job managing a small team at a car dealership. I've never had hallucinations or suffered psychosis of any real sort, but I feel like I am going insane at times, but I know I'm not. So basically, this is the part where things start to get worse for me. As I said, I was diagnosed with epilepsy after having probably 100 seizures in a 1.5-year period, with multiple hospital stays. And this past July 28, 2024, I was in a car accident that landed me in the ICU in the trauma hospital with 2 fractured vertebrae. I was terrified and alone. I found out I wasn't going to need surgery, but still was out of work for over a month and was extremely depressed. About 2 weeks after I get back to work, I was laying in bed one night around the first week of October, and I noticed what looked like a faint shadow pacing around my bed quickly, and it scared me so bad I didn't sleep in my apartment for a month. Then while in my car, it felt like there was something grabbing at my feet and legs. I started capturing videos of just weird, out-of-place stuff moving. I noticed that there was a faint sound of a super high-pitched noise, like what you hear when a TV is on, and strange voices of a female. I eventually worked up the courage to sleep in my house again, and I started to notice there were more of these shadow entities, and they would cause me to feel pain in my genitalia. I am constantly being touched, and this thing follows me everywhere, even to work. I also started hearing really faint, ominous, dreadful sounds. I also would notice sometimes it seemed like there was something that had more power than the other entities and didn't look like a faint shadow. It looked like the same effect like a mirage in the desert, just in the shape of a human-like being. I've noticed the shadows jump if I throw exorcism water at it, and if I hold my rosary out towards it, then my rosary will spin around and my crucifix necklace gets pulled so tightly. The noises started with the frequent sound of a single whistle here and there, And I also hear that high-pitched noise constantly, and other strange noises that I can only describe as electronic noises. And even what I hear, I can only equate to what I would assume a portal sounds like, sucking something through. And then something or someone was yelling, "Hey," at me in a strangely normal human voice for about 2 seconds before hearing that sounding noise like again.
It was sucked
Out through the portal. I have video of some stuff if anyone is curious. I recently just moved and things seem almost worse, and I'm working with the church who is putting me in touch with an exorcist. I just don't feel possessed, but this thing definitely has an obsession with my male reproductive organs. So I'm constantly on guard. I recently just moved again, and the church is so slow. I do online deliverance prayers, but nothing is working. Has anyone ever experienced anything like this? It's been an absolute nightmare, and I could seriously use help. I'll also add that due to my history with addiction, I do see a psychiatric doctor for depression, but she even told me I don't suffer from psychosis and should contact a priest. So please, if you have experienced anything like this, please let me know.